little known American folk tale. Jonathan Windermere Pendergast spoke with authority and traveled fast. He stared down his nose at a trembling staff, keeping them all in their place, thrusting his arms in all directions, pointing out errors in need of correction, snapping commands demanding perfection, getting in everyone's face. And though he dressed like a vacuum salesman, had a taste for cheap Mexican food, he blustered his way to vice presidency by being obnoxious and rude. Snivel and charm the brightest of men, and he would pat all the right behinds, and he knew what to say to every boss in any reception line. La-da-da-da-di, la-da-da-di-dum. On his way to the quarterly sales review, where he'd soon give a speech to the company's true, he ate one burrito, then quickly ate two, and a plate of rice and beans. While thinking about the great impression he'd make on that team of executives present, he swallowed a taco the size of a pheasant and licked his fingers clean. How could he have known that righteous burrito he'd savored was several days old? That the taco and beans had been ripening slowly a week before they were sold? That a microwave's heat and a hot cup of salsa disguised their dreadful taste and saved a greedy restaurant owner from having to throw them away. Li-di-di-di-di, li-di-di-di-dum. Well, that Mexican meal began to burn as he mounted the stage and effected a turn to the microphone stand beside a large fern, while holding on tight to his notes as he preened and bowed to the president, his white teeth reflecting their pallident, his obsequious posturing quite evident to all of the appropriate folks. But when he turned to face the audience, a belch blurted out like a growl, which was somehow heard through the microphone like the honk of a waterfowl. He quickly sprung to attention as the pressure began to increase. In the base of his bowl from the gobbled snack, reheated burritos and beans. Li-di-di-di-di, li-di-di-di-dum. As he quantified the company's story while intertwining his name with the president's glory, he lurched to one side like a tea kettle pouring, contorting himself into a squeeze. As he sought to keep himself from exploding, he furrowed his brow in a somber foreboding, then crossing his legs as his body was bloating, attempted to finish his speech. But as he began to open his mouth and dazzle the group with his style, the air began to seep from his pants, and he stood with a sickly smile. His mouths were agape in the silence of that speech's abrupt interruption. Jonathan Windermere Pendergast began his infamous eruption. Li-di-di-di-di, li-di-di-di-dum. Well, as the seam in his breeches began to tear, the senior executives rose from their chairs then scrambled for cover while gasping for air and sheltering from the blast. The chairman's eyes began to water, a suffocating air grew hotter, a smoldering cannon with plenty of fodder was Windermere Pendergast. His Jonathan Windy began to blow like a rocket preparing for flight. As he lifted off from center stage, his notes quickly fell from sight. Whistling balloon, he shot for the ceiling with a terrible thrust and a poof, then vanished completely in a flash through the sky, through a hole in the building's roof. Lie-de-di-de-di, lie-de-di-de-dum. The lingering fumes swirled away through the ceiling, and those who'd been praying arose from their kneeling, and all that remained was an empty feeling that everyone hoped would soon pass. The executives quietly dusted their suits, then stared in awe through that hole in the roof, then gazed in amazement at the two blackened boots of Windermere Pendergast. Lie-de-di-de-di.